I'm Johnny Vegas, and you're listening to KopTalk with Dunk. And all you other Liverpool sites, just stop embarrassing yourself, all right?
Yo, what up? This your boy Smooth, straight from New York. You're listening to KopTalk Podcast. Remember this, you never walk alone, but if you fuck with us, you walk with a limp.
Alright guys, how's it going? It is Monday the 5th of June 2023 and you're listening to the KopTalk Podcast in association with footballclubshares.com, where you can buy real shares in real football clubs, and I get a kickback from it, obviously. Alright. How you doing? You alright? Did you have a good weekend? I had a great weekend, really enjoyed it. I was streaming for 11 hours yesterday on my personal YouTube channel, youtube.com/Duncan Oldham, playing Call of Duty DMZ. I can't think of anything better to do on a weekend. And maybe I don't have a life, I don't know. But being online with my best friend and my other really cool friends, enjoying a game, no women nagging at me or anything like that, I don't think I want a chick in my life, guys. It was great. I even had my Sunday dinner while I was deployed in Al Mazrah. It's very true. I had a great weekend, and I hope you did too. We did Saturday night streaming, I can't remember what it's called. It was a bit toxic on there on Saturday night. It was a new moon or something like that, full moon or something, I don't know what it's called. Maybe that explains it. I made a video about that today on KopTalk.tv, which kind of addresses the issue, so if you do participate in the streams, please do pop along and give that a watch, and that will explain my feelings about it all and what is and is not acceptable on my streams, because we just want to have a nice time. We don't need to hear your bollocks, you know what I'm saying? So what I want to do this week is I want to try and get an episode out to you every morning, every weekday morning this week, okay? I usually see the boys on a Monday. Well, I will see them today, actually, but I won't be having a drink, and that means I'll be fresh tomorrow morning for you, all right? Now, because it's the first one of the week, first thing in the morning, it's probably not going to be the greatest of podcasts. Maybe the podcasts are not great anyway, but what I mean by that is I like and need routine. So if I do this every morning at this time, then tomorrow I'll remember, in theory, what I did yesterday and what we discussed yesterday. If you haven't done a podcast for a while, you go, did I mention that in the last one? Do you know what I mean? So bear with me as the week goes on. We should be all right. Now, you can email me, podcast@koptalk.com. And all emails are read out, providing I see them. Sometimes I can go into the spam folder, so always, chase me up. I do check it, of course, but sometimes it's not obvious. Or you can go to koptalkpodcast.com and use the contact form. Anything, if you've got questions about LFC, you've got opinions about LFC, it can be, questions you want me to put to people. 3 questions, 5 questions, 1 question. Don't ask people what to think about this, and let's see if anybody responds. I'll give you a little tip. When you email me, it puts me under pressure to record an episode. If it's dead quiet, I just think, well, there's no point. And that will be the policy this week and every week going forward. So if you say, well, it's Wednesday, right? There's no episode from me. Don't go, well, Dunk said he was going to do an episode. It means there's nothing to talk about. So that means if I had a couple of emails, we would have something to talk about, right? So just consider that. If you really enjoy the podcast, the more you contribute to it, if possible, because I know you're very busy, some of you, the more content we have and things to talk about. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a look at a little, like, what's going on in the news kind of thing. So it might be a bit mundane, because we probably heard some of this, maybe some of it's from over the weekend. But by tomorrow, tomorrow, Wednesday, we should be okay. There's a little bit about Sadio Mane today, saying Bayern Munich are reportedly hopeful of convincing Mane to leave the club this summer, and are apparently looking at Newcastle United as a possible destination for him. Whenever you see the word reportedly in a news article, that means that particular source that's published it or outlet that's published it are not claiming it as their own news. Some people don't realise that. So let's just say it said Liverpool are reportedly interested in re-signing Mane, and it's on, say, the Liverpool Echo website. Some fans might say, "Oh, have you seen the Echo saying that?" Right? And people go, oh, if it's the Echo, they might know a little bit, but people forget to say, well, they're reportedly saying it. So reportedly is also a disclaimer when people want to mislead you with news, right? Trust me, I know. So if it's using the right way, it's just pointing out, hey, we're not claiming this, but this is what's out there at the moment. We're going to address these claims. Some people will, that are out there, these ITKs, will use it to drop a transfer rumour to gain traction. And it's their disclaimer, like, well, I never said it. It was reportedly. All right, I think you guys know that, but I just got to mention it in case we've got some newcomers. And they go on to say this comes from a website called Football Transfers, which is not a website that I would ever pay any attention to. It's very speculative, and I don't think that you should pay attention to it either, but you make your own decisions. And it's them that are saying that the German Giants are aware of Newcastle's admiration of the Liverpool legend due to their ability to cover the wages required to recruit the Senegalese star. But I think that they... I don't know if Football Transfers are putting out there as their own or whether they're citing someone else. I don't know because I don't read it. But if you're seeing rumours at the moment, about Mane, to Newcastle, that might be where it's originated from. And we've seen it mentioned. We've seen it mentioned with Liverpool. I don't think that's going to happen, guys, with Liverpool. Obviously, he's not had the greatest of times since he left Liverpool. But you know what? I couldn't give a shit. He left Liverpool. I wish him well. I hope it works out. And he's a lovely player. And a nice person, well, not a lovely player, I should say a lovely person. He's a really nice person. He's a good egg, and he's got a heart of gold off the pitch. But what I mean is, when I say I don't give a shit, I mean like once a player leaves Liverpool, I want him to do well, maybe as long as it's not against us. But you're gone, all right. So if you didn't want to hang around, then good luck. You know what I'm saying? More chatter about Alexis McAllister. It's more regurgitated. I mean, have you been watching Fabrizio Romano, Mo Salah? Every single fucking day, he just rehashes and regurgitates his previous day's tweet about Alex McAllister, about it being so close, and it's going to be this and going to be that. He is a glorified ITK. There is no doubt that he has contacts with agents. I enjoy what he has to say, and I'm not saying that he deliberately misleads anyone, but he certainly knows how to generate interest. And he will be making a fortune, guys, from what he does. Nothing wrong with that, right? It's just the way that people operate sometimes. And I think, is it really necessary to do that? But it's entertainment, and I'm an old fart and I'm a bit old school, so maybe you're not interested. But anyway, the one thing that he's been spouting is that he's going to cost a lot less than £70 million. Some people think it's going to be 45 million, but they hear a rumour and they go with it, and before you know it, that's what we're doing. We're paying 45 million. The reality is nobody knows what that fee will be should the deal proceed, and it looks very positive. Me personally, I don't believe done is done until a contract is signed, inked, legally binding. We had information posted on the KopTalk members website from one of our greatest contributors at the weekend. I think it was. Let me see if I can find it very quickly. Alexis McAllister. I think I'm trying to see where this is, because there's multiple updates on several pages. It was posted on the 6th. No, it wasn't. It was on the 3rd, of the 6th. So the 3rd of June. So when was that? Was that Saturday? Saturday morning? I think it was Saturday morning. Saying the player's contract has now been finalised. It is printed and prepared for completion. There were delays surrounding specifics relating to some particular terms. These have all been agreed upon now. It is a very heavily incentivised contract, second only to Salah in terms of bonuses for individual performances and success. There has been no financial transactions between anyone involved as yet, but I think the buttons will be pressed next week. This person, guys, would know about that, okay? Unless Liverpool or the player pulls out, this should go ahead. I must stress that legally this deal is not yet binding at any level. I did share this information with Dunk on Thursday, but I specifically asked it not to be shared until more people were aware of the status. Manchester City made a very late intervention, but the agent claims he never spoke to them other than to say his client's future had been resolved. So someone said, why would he be so heavily incentivized, the contract, like player bonuses or whatever, up there with Salah? And it's a good question. And one can only assume that it means that the player is maybe getting a smaller than, usual salary, maybe weekly wage or something like that. So, I'm quite happy to, take this, but I want heavily incentivized rewards if I do well, kind of thing. Don't know, guys, totally speculating, but that's a claim. And the person that made those claims, you can put your life on them that they will be accurate. But they did say, like I would say, until that fucking thing's inked, you just don't know. So we'll have to, we don't know what the fee will be. We don't know what the ins and outs of, whatnot. I just got a message, and it's important that I have to check these messages. It was a Liverpool related message, and obviously I'm recording a podcast, so it would be great to read it out to you if it was relevant, but it's not. So we don't know the ins and outs of the contract, and as yet it's not inked. There has been suggestions that his father's been over to England, to iron things out. And I think more Salah's main man, Fabrizio Romano. I think Fabrizio said something along the lines at the weekend. Was it the weekend? Didn't he say something like there was some finer points in the contract that needed to be ironed out? And that kind of ties in with the suggestions of those details that I've just given to you. So it sounds very promising, guys, and we shall see. Napoli winger Kvaratskhelia, what a name, has played down talk of a possible summer exit after declaring his love for the Serie A champions. The Georgian international has been one of the standout signings of last season, having arrived in Italy from Dynamo Batumi as somewhat of an unknown quantity. His performances this season have resulted in Liverpool and other top European sides being linked with him. And he was recently asked to clarify his future at the club, and he said, if Napoli fans can be optimistic, of course they can be confident. I love Napoli. I don't even know why that's been flagged up, to be honest with you, because I've not heard us mention with this kid, have you? Liverpool have reportedly taken the lead in the race to sign Spanish starlet Gabri Veiga. Notice the word reportedly again, guys. The Celta Vigo midfielder helped his club avoid relegation from La Liga after scoring twice in a 2-1 win over Barcelona. Veiga ended the season with 11 goals and 4 assists in 36 league appearances, resulting in interest arising from Premier League sides. Now, Relevo, which is relevo.com, say that Liverpool are among those that have an interest in the 21-year-old and are now in pole position to land the youngster. Not heard a thing, have you? Said to be seduced by Jurgen Klopp's commitment to youngsters. Doesn't sound like that, does it? Veiga would be following in the footsteps of former Vigo star Stefan Bajcetic should he make the move to Anfield. RB Leipzig are reportedly readying a second offer for Liverpool midfielder Fabio Carvalho. Obviously, Liverpool do not want to see the player sold. They're saying that they would be happy with a loan. A very strange situation, that one, guys, as to, my phone's making noises through the speaker. Very strange situation. There's a lot of hype around this kid when we signed him, and I'm really disappointed that we haven't seen more of him. But the manager sees him all the time, that we've got to respect the manager. He knows more about football than we do. We can agree on that, yeah? So we'll just keep an eye on the Carvalho stuff, but Leipzig are still trying to do something, and I would not be surprised if Liverpool did take money for him at some point, honestly, because it can be very tempting, and it could be a ploy, no, we're only loaning him, and then a bigger offer comes in. I don't think that's what will happen, but you never know, do you? Ryan Gravenberch, his departure from Bayern Munich is, quote, almost inevitable, according to reports. Okay, so there's just a little disclaimer in there. According to Sport 1's Kerry Howe, there is a chance that the 21-year-old leaves the Alliance Arena after just one season. As quoted by Soccer News in Holland, the Ajax Academy graduate faces an uncertain future with consideration that he is a Salihamidzic signing, whatever the fuck that means. Gravenberch obviously could end up at Liverpool this summer. It's a genuine interest, not a priority target in my opinion, but we don't rule him out just yet. Chelsea you may have seen that they have reportedly given up on Manuel Ugarte, who now looks set to go to PSG. I just think he was going to go to PSG and not Chelsea anyway, but I haven't read those reports, to be honest with you. I kind of gave up on Ugarte a while ago. And it's claimed that Chelsea are now interested in Caicedo and Lavia, two players, that have been linked with Liverpool for some time. Liverpool made an inquiry about Lavia recently. Nobody expects Caicedo to come to Liverpool, but I'm watching every single thing to do with that player at the moment. Not because anyone's said anything specifically, but I'm really interested to see what happens to him moving forward. The transfer window is... I went into this transfer window quite excited, guys. That excitement's dropped off a little bit, but I think it will return, once we start seeing some activity. Once that transfer window's opens, I think we'll start seeing things really, kick off early. So that would be pretty cool, right? Yeah. So I think that's your main kind of gossip, if you like, or catch up of what's going on regarding LFC over the last day or so, or something like that. What we're going to do now is look at today's mainstream media claims surrounding all clubs. So we've got the Telegraph saying that Man City, up their bid to win the treble, will persuade Norway striker Erling Haaland to sign a longer contract and subsequently fend off interest from Real Madrid. In Spain, they're saying that Real Madrid have made contact with Tottenham about signing England striker Harry Kane as a replacement for Karim Benzema. Now, do you call him Benzema or Benzema? I never know, but you know what I'm like with my names. But I've heard his name pronounced differently on multiple, football commentary. The Mail say Real Madrid will bid £100 million for Kane. The Telegraph, Manchester United will make a £50 million offer for Chelsea's England midfielder Mason Mount and push Tottenham to sell Kane, although they think signing the England captain is, quote, unlikely. Real Madrid are on the way to agreeing a mega deal for Chelsea's 23-year-old Germany forward Kai Havertz. Those are reports in Germany. Now, L'Equipe are saying that Real Madrid's former France striker Karim Benzema is expected to sign Saudi Arabian champions Al Ittihad on a 2-year contract. Willem Balaguer, we don't hear much from him these days, do we? Inter Miami's offer to sign Argentina forward Lionel Messi when he leaves PSG this summer includes deals with Apple and Adidas, but he's worth less financially than his other offer from Saudi Arabia. Foot Mercato, which is France, PSG have made former Bayern Munich boss Julian Nagelsmann their top target to replace Christopher Galtier with ex-Arsenal and France striker Thierry Henry as his assistant. The Mirror say that Tottenham want Brentford goalkeeper David Raya, 27, to replace 36-year-old former France international Hugo Lloris, who is set to leave this summer. Record, which I believe is Portugal, Chelsea are expected to complete the signing of Sporting Lisbon's 22-year-old Uruguay midfielder Manuel Ugarte, who has a £52 million release clause, so quite a bit of contradictory reporting around him over the last 24 hours. I've given up on him. Mirror, Chelsea moved ahead of PSG in the race to sign Ugarte with a proposal to buy a minority stake in Sporting as part of the deal. Very straight, what's that all about? Do you know what I mean? That's in the Mirror. That's something that I'd like to read, which I haven't read, so you might hear me clicking through to that. I've got adverts all over. These websites are unbearable. I hope you appreciate that I never put all this shit on my website. Sporting, I believe, blah, blah, blah. I don't see anything about... I'm speed reading this article, but I'm not going to... I can't see anything about that, so I'm a bit confused by that, guys. Maybe you know a bit more about that than me. Sport. This is Spain. Manchester United have made a move to rival Barcelona for the signing of Morocco midfielder Sofiane Amrabat from Fiorentina. He was linked with us a while back. Terra Deportes, so we can only assume that this... I don't know, I was going to say Spain, but it mentions Ecuador. Anyway, it says Brighton's 21-year-old Ecuador midfielder Moses Caicedo has agreed personal terms with Arsenal, although Chelsea are willing to pay a higher transfer fee. Fabrizio Romano, Mo Salah. Arsenal will make a bid for West Ham's England midfielder Declan Rice after Wednesday's Europa Conference League final, but Bayern Munich are also interested. TalkSport, Everton are keen to sign Netherlands striker Weghorst. Wow, how do you pronounce his name? Weghorst, when he returns to Burnley from his loan at Man United. Goals say Manchester United midfielder Fred, we can pronounce that one, could leave this summer. He's 30 now. The Mail say West Ham and Burnley are interested in Strasbourg's 27-year-old Senegal striker Habib Diallo. Standard, Chelsea will demand 20 million for 21-year-old Dutch defender Ian Maatsen this summer, with Burnley interested in a permanent deal after he helped them with the Championship title while on loan this season. Nicolo Schira says former Leeds manager Jesse Marsch is on the shortlist to become Monaco coach after they sacked Philippe Clement. And Corriere dello Sport in Italia, Italian manager Roberto Mancini is one of the candidates to take charge of Italian champions Napoli. That's your mainstream media roundup for Monday, the 5th of June. Would like to give a shout out to those of you that support this podcast, www.KopTalkPodcast.com. If you want to join the squad, not had a newcomer for a long time, you could put a smile on my face. Or if you're an existing patron of the podcast, you could climb up one of those tiers. Yeah, you could. You could also go down, but that'd make me sulk. But I want to give a shout out to those of you that do support this podcast and make it possible. Patrons, obviously, don't have to listen to adverts in their episodes. And when there's private episodes, bonus episodes, they get those too. It's the equivalent of buying me a coffee once a month or a beer, a very cheap, coffee, Spanish beer, all right, because these are cheap prices. I'm just saying. Thanks to those of you on the old legacy tier. I do appreciate that support. But yeah, the supporters, we have, who do we have? Where do we start? We start with Liam Buckland, James Braid, Wayne Brown, Tom Brown, TG, Simon Digweed, Matt Bingley, Jimmy. We got Jamie Gilmore, we got Harry, we got Hamza, we got Glyn, we got Clint, we got Aaron as well. We then have our legends, so we've got Craig Halford, and we have Tyler Dean Williams, Paul MC, Matt Meeker, James Lee, Jack Wood, Jack Rudgley, Big Wave Dave, Andrew Evans, and then we have what's called our royalty. We've only got 3 royalty, but I do appreciate you guys so much because you enabled me to get a few coffees, you know what I'm saying? We've got Michael Couchman, we've got David Sutcliffe, and we've got Adam Naylor, so a great squad there, as Rafa Benitez would say, or a great group, as another Liverpool manager, Brendan Rodgers, would refer to people. I do appreciate the support, guys, and like I say, guys, if you want to join that list and get a shout out in every episode, it's www.KopTalkPodcast.com. So that's going to be your first update this week, guys. I do apologise if I've missed anything out. I just want to get back into the routine of things. You guys are very loyal to me on this podcast, and I do appreciate that. And I want to get as much audio content out as possible for you this week. Any questions, you can email me privately, dunk@koptalk.com. But if it's for the podcast, it's podcast@koptalk.com.